Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about Vinco Ventures. Now in this video we're going to be talking about the ticker BBIG and going a little bit towards an update towards due diligence, technical analysis, and what I think is going to happen in the next few days. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So my last video is in the description below, but if you've never heard about Vinco Ventures, basically they're a holdings company where they acquire different companies, grow them into the strategy that they do have, called the BIG strategy, the buy, innovate, and grow strategy. Now, they put themselves as a leader in selective acquisitions. Now, some of the latest news includes their basically spin-off shares, and I'll go to that in a second. But there's no other news other than the short selling activities and some of the volatility and some of the volume. So we'll talk about that in terms of the interest still found on BBIG. Now, if you were to go towards the previous video, you will find one of my videos, or one of the things I covered was the presentation that they put relating towards the preliminary proxy, relating towards as well towards, the record date for TYDE spinoff dividend. And for this one here, the record date for the proxy is around September 15th. Now, a lot of people are not probably aware, if they're new in the market, that there's something called the ex-dividend date. So what is the ex-dividend date? So this resource here on Investopedia really explains it really well. So the record date, or the day of record, and the ex-dividend date of a stock are both important dates relating towards stock purchasing and reporting. These dates help determine which investors will receive dividends and when they will receive them. Companies use dividends to distribute the profits to shareholders that may pay out dividends in several different ways, including cash dividends, stock dividends, etc. But basically, the key takeaways here are that the record date is set already. An ex-dividend date is dedicated or dictated by stock exchange rules and is usually set to be 1 business day before the record date. If the stock sale has not been completed by the ex-dividend date, then the seller on record is the one who receives the dividend for that stock. So basically, the record date, or the ex-dividend date, is usually around 1 business day before. But in order to make sure you're in, to be safe, let's say around 2 business days or 2 days before. So that's the X date and the date of record. That's kind of a range on there in order to make sure you should have bought today on extended market today. And the last opportunity to get this dividend will most likely be tomorrow, coming in on September 14th, 2021. Now, in that as well, you're able to see that they're going to have a mailing date for proxy. If you receive that, you most likely are in the record date. Then you're going to have the shareholder meeting on October 14th, and October 15th, you're going to have the record date. That's another one for the TYD spinoff for dividend. So it might actually be as well October 13th or 2 business days before October 15th as well, in addition to where the voting one for September 15th. There's 2 record dates here, or 2 ex-dividend, or the 2 dates for the record dates in general, 2 days before these dates. So if you haven't bought one yet and you're watching this video in the future, just remember, as long as you buy before 2 business days from October 15th, assuming that would be October 13th, you should have the dividends for the spinoff. Now, how is that going to impact the stock in general? You would expect that the stock would jump closer towards October 13th for the people that do want that spinoff for the TYDE dividend. And that is very important to the narrative we're talking about. Now, that is a month in advance. This is next month. So will the stock continue with this volatility? That might be a long time to continue with interest until then for the stock to really squeeze up. Now, before moving on forward, if you'd like to see more content like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. Also, don't forget to drop a like to this video down below. And if you would like to join our Discord, it's totally free in the description below. We're not trying to sell you on anything on there. Now, towards the short selling activities, surprisingly, we have around 3,000 shares that were returned here on this platform. And this is the short shares availability being around 3,000 shares updated around 17 minutes ago. Now, the current short borrow fee rate has decreased from the last video that I did talk about. Currently, previously it was almost 148%. Currently, it's around 101%. So it really decreased quite significantly on there. And this shows you that the short volumes have decreased. And as you get to see here, the short volume has decreased on the last business day. And this is kind of impacting and showing that short sellers are a bit worried relating towards this one. Now, in terms of Google Trends, you're able to see that currently there was 2 peaks, one on August 30th and one on September 8th. So the August 30th, this is the relative thing. So we're doing everything relative from August 30th. It was around 100% attention, and then later on 87% around September 8th. Currently, there's not a lot of that kind of attention going on. And if you were to take a look into the last 7 days, you're able to see it's starting to pick up after the weekend, but there's not a lot of attention compared to September 8th, as you get to see. Probably 1/3 of the attention left back on there. And of course, this is just an indication to kind of give you an idea on the popularity of the stock. And the ENFT platform currently is trading a 163 for the Tory Lanez NFT album. If you haven't heard about it, I did talk about it before. And it was sold for $1, currently trading a 163 with this person leading up. Y'all tripping, people are buying higher, go up. And there is higher. It goes up to, I think, millions of dollars. Like this person trying to sell it for $99 million. And good luck for that. But let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis point of view, I'll guide you through a bunch of things here. First off, on the technical analysis, everything on the moving averages are still bullish in that the 10 SMA is above the 30 SMA, that's bullish, and the 50 SMA is above the 200 SMA. Currently, the trading action zone where you can expect the stock to meet a reversal is between the 912 and the 616. So currently, it's close to there, around 960, but hopefully it doesn't dip below there. And currently, on the average directional index, it's hitting 44. So 40.44. And for this one here at this level, it suggests a very strong trend that still has a little bit of fuel left. Now, we're going to take a look into supports and resistances to understand what is the critical levels that you might want to sell at, or at least put your stop limits at. In terms of the willing percent R, this is starting to look neutral, not overbought anymore. So the willing percent R is very similar to the relative strength index and it's showing us neutral, meaning there's a lot more selling that is happening in today at least, and in the last day before. Now, this could be either long panic selling, so long buyers that are panic selling onto this one, or people who trading this one on the short side. That could be another possibility for this one. Now, in terms of MACD, you're able to see that there's a retraction in that momentum, and it could actually meet a negative reversal sometime next week. Although it is a little bit early to tell, and hopefully that is not the case. Momentum, though, is around 650. Still very bullish and very strong momentum in general. Now, in terms of the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are stabilizing, although the percent K on both are dipping down, telling you to be careful because it can go down quick. Now, in terms of the moving averages, everything is still shifting upwards, but volumes are really decreasing. This is the lowest volume it's ever seen since the 26th of August, where it was trading around the 295. So that's a very critical thing to talk about. Now, in the last trend line, I did talk and say, well, for this one here, and let me actually take a look into, let's say, 15 minutes. And I said, around here, if it does break this channel, we might be in a lot of trouble because this stock would be out of trend. Technically, yes, this is the case currently. This channel has been broken downwards, or at least the trend line at the bottom. Currently, though, if we were to go ahead and draw from the last line down to below and extend it, some of the price point might still attach onto there, but currently we can say that this is the current new channel, if possible, if it holds, but I really doubt that's a little bit less meaningful than it was before. But on the Fibonacci retracements, when we're looking up all the way from the 1249 all the way down to around the 212, we're able to see that the current support for this one on the Fibonacci retracements is around 853, 730, 608, and 457, and the resistance is at 1027 and 1249. On a price line action, we're able to see that there's a very critical support that is a 961. If that breaks it, we're most likely going to down to 935, and then 891, and then 863, 826, going all the way down to 794, then 765, and then down to 739, and then downwards to around 701. If we do break the 701, it's very likely we're going to see the 645, from 645 around 607, and then 549, downwards a little bit of a hiccup on 496, and then 402, and then straight down to 332. Hopefully that is not the case. Now, in terms of resistances, we have one currently at the 978. That is a resistance. And if we do break that one, the next one is at 1050. And then above there, 1066. And then 1134. And then 1173. Then the 1249, 1247 range. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? Well, in all retrospect, from what we've seen today, if it does break that 948, or at least somewhere closer to the 950, we're in trouble. Because it can drop fast. And a lot of people, especially short selling, are kind of taking an eye into this one and saying, hey, it might be a really good opportunity to attack this before as well the new shares are being issued. Because remember, we did talk about new shares, debt-free, and the stock is starting to become a little bit more intriguing. But the good news is the company used this massive jump to generate a lot more cash and basically trying to go out of this debt-free and become more interesting as a stock and more appetizing for investors to swallow rather than it being an overvalued stock with them holding the bags. But again, this is a very high risk at this level. It's starting to show a little bit of resistance. If we do break the 940, 948, we're in trouble. So what do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.